Good morning.
Good morning. We have Irina with us. So she's an expert in relocation and also she represents a company for insurance. And why insurance? Because everyone thinks that public health is very important in Spain. Everyone we have public health for free. And what is the case for foreigners? If you want to come to Spain, do you can access public health?
Good morning. Yes, and thank you firstly for inviting me this morning to speak about this important topic of health insurance. Yes, that's a great question. Indeed, Spain has a fantastic public health system, very known across the world. And many people believe that if they come and live in Spain, they have automatic access to this fantastic public system, which is not completely the case. And we need to know that if you come, unless you contribute to the system by working in Spain, being employed or self-employed, or if you come, for example, as a pensioner from another EU country, meaning you contributed to the system in another EU country, or as a displaced worker, in these cases, you will have access to the public system. Otherwise, it is not the case. Even if you come from another EU country, but you are not working in Spain and you stopped working in your previous country, you do not have access to the public system. You will eventually get access to the system if you live long in Spain, if you become legal resident after 1 year of legal residency. There is a special program called Convenio Especial where you can apply for an access to the public system. But until then, the only option for you is a private health cover. And health cover, comprehensive health cover, is an obligatory requirement for becoming legal resident. So it is an obligation of everyone to secure that you have either public or private health cover in Spain.
Yeah. So before you are resident, when you are resident and you have a work in Spain, yes, you can have access. But meanwhile, you need a private, right? So it's
Absolutely, absolutely. You can have access when you're working in Spain. It is not just you, it is also your family members, which is important to mention as well. All of you will have access to the public system. However, for the family members, the dependents, the procedure to register them takes time. So they first need to become legal residents, and then you need to apply for the application through the system. And it can take several months in some cases, during which time, if you really need some assistance, some medical assistance, you won't have it.
Mhm.
So again, there it is always recommendable to get initially access through the private system. Then you're covered from day one. Whatever happens to you or your family members, you are covered, you have your peace of mind. And then during this time, during the first year, you'll have registered your access to the public system. And then you can in the future decide if you want to keep both.
And another thing I was thinking, because all my students, everyone is coming, they are not good in Spanish. Of course, they are learning. So what happened with the doctors? They speak Spanish or no? English or no?
Right, that's the fantastic question. Of course, that's one of the first thing people are worried about. And health is such a delicate matter. When we go to the doctor, we want to be sure that the doctor understands us. So, of course, quite naturally, you would like to speak to somebody in the language that is understood. In the public system, you can be lucky to find a doctor who would speak English, but generally this is not the case. Furthermore, the public centers, centros de salud, you will find very often big signs announcing, "We do not speak English here. Bring a translator."
Mm.
So if you go through the public system, it is quite unlikely you get assistance in English. In a private system, it is much better. We still need to remember that we are in Spain and we're dealing with the same set of Spanish doctors, but the selection of doctors is much wider. You have free choice to choose a doctor, and you will have a range of doctors speaking English. So you will be able to find assistance in English, especially if you come to such areas which, like for example, Malaga and Costa del Sol, which are very popular among expats. You will have much wider assistance in English here.
Mm-hmm. And how much is an insurance, for example? Because depend, no, how many. Because if you are
Of course.
coming for family, I think you have a rate, different rate, no, a discount. But in general, how much is could be the
Correct.
cost?
It's a great question. I wanted especially to talk about it because very many people have an assumption that if it is private, it has to be expensive, especially coming from such countries like, for example, United States or Canada or Switzerland, if it is in Europe, or even Ireland or Great Britain, where the private insurances are really expensive. People believe that this is the same in Spain. The reality is that private insurance is very, very affordable, and many people get positively surprised when I offer them quotes for their private cover. Let's give an example. For example, it depends, of course, on your age, a lot on your age. But if we say a middle-aged person, 40s, 50s, in this range, you will pay for the whole year something around 1,100 euros for the whole year, which will give you the comprehensive cover equal to the public cover. People very often doubt this figure and asking me, are you sure it is for the year or is it for a month? No, it is for the year. So it is a very positive surprise for many people.
Yes, because even in America, even 1 month is more than the whole year. Mhm.
Exactly, exactly. So the private care is really, really affordable. Furthermore, if you have access, if you're among the lucky ones who have access to the public system and you want to complement it with a private system to, let's say, balance some of the handicaps of the public system, then you don't need such a comprehensive cover. You can choose a cheaper cover, which maybe will have some excess or some co-payments, and this will cost you even less. Mhm.
Yeah, it's a very good advantage. And regarding, for example, if you have an emergency, public health can help you, right?
Of course, yeah. For emergency, everybody who is here will be covered. Obviously, when you come to Spain, you will either have travel insurance if you come as a tourist. But if something happens, you call 112 or you go to the emergency room, and of course, you will be assisted. The emergency services in Spain are very good, but you can, if you go to the public system emergency, again, you cannot expect to be treated in English.
Yeah, is that. And also because there was something happening in Spain that everyone came for be treated because the public health is very popular, is very good. So people say, oh, I have an emergency, I'm coming. And the doctors now they know and they check if these are all insurance. Sorry, we cannot treat you because you need to.
Exactly, exactly. You also need to be prepared that after you've been treated for an emergency, you will be asked to present a proof of your insurance. So that will be also a question coming your way.
Yeah, so yeah, public, but even us, I have public health, and also we have private because it's short, because there are a wait list. When you need to do any doctor, you need to wait like 6 months waiting list. So at the end we come for private as well. So
Exactly. I think I would like to be honest about the public cover. It is fantastic. The public system of Spain is one of the best in the world. It has state-of-the-art hospitals and facilities, and the service is really good. But it has its handicaps, like very long waiting times to see a specialist, unless it is an emergency where you will be treated straight away. But if it is not an emergency, the waiting time can take months, like you just mentioned. And you also don't have any free choice of doctor. So you go to your GP, and then the GP will send you further to a specialist, and then you will be seen by just some specialist. And every time the specialist can be different. Whereof in private healthcare, you can choose freely a doctor you want to see. Example, again, if you want to see somebody who speaks English, you choose it from the list of the health provider, and the waiting times almost non-existent. You make an appointment, and in most cases, the following day or in a few days, you will be seen by a specialist. So having a private cover complement your public cover is the best of both worlds.
Yeah, this is the best. And also, if you work in Spain legally, you can access and then you can have the private if you want to go faster. But this is good.
Exactly, exactly. So in this case, you don't need to contract some very expensive product. As we already discussed, they are not so expensive, but you can even find a more affordable product, which would serve just as a complementary cover to your public cover. I see very many, I myself like this, and the majority of people I know have a public cover and a complementary
Mhm.
private cover to exactly address those negatives of the public system.
Exactly. And there are many. So, which one is the best? How can a foreigner decide? Because right now will be they're all in internet, but which one is the best? How can
All
you
right.
decide is this good or is this not good?
Absolutely. That's so difficult because, of course, every will claim that they are the best, obviously. So one thing to look at is whether the insurance company dedicate itself only to health sector, or if there are also other covering other insurances sectors. For example, the company I represent, Sanitas, is Spain's second largest insurance provider, and they only dedicate to health sector. So that's their specialty. These type insurances will have a much wider network of hospitals and much wider network of specialists and doctors. So you can be sure to get access to more professionals wherever you are in Spain. Small insurance companies will only cover certain areas or will have a very limited range of specialists available, which of course will be reflected in a cheaper premium price, but you don't get the same service. And another, let's say, the most important parameter to look at is just check the reviews online, talk to people based on their personal experiences, how they've been treated, how did they find the service. That's the best way of choosing one.
Of course. And if you have a previous injury, if you have illness,
Yes.
the cover is the same. They can cover you or
It very much depends. So if you have serious pre-existing conditions, normally those will be excluded from your cover. And if you have some really serious, like for example, some heart diseases or cancer in the last 5 years, unfortunately, this will not be possible to get insurance through a private provider. In this case, your only way is through the public system because public system doesn't do exclusions. They cover you completely. So if you want to come and live in Spain, you need to make sure that you have access to the public system. As with the private, it will be difficult to get. But there will be also other conditions which are not so serious, which you will still get access to the public system, but maybe with some set of exclusions and some specific terms and conditions.
and if you are not working but you are retired, you can access a public as well, right? System.
It depends from where you're coming as a retiree. If you're coming from European Union or United Kingdom, where the countries where Spain has existent reciprocal agreements to cover social security coverage, then you can have access to the public system. If you come from outside of the EU, like United States, Canada, Australia, anywhere else, then your only way is to get the private system. And if you cannot, then unfortunately it will be impossible for you to reside in Spain, as health cover is an obligatory requirement.
Mm. But they can cover you part of your illness and the other no, right?
Yes, absolutely. If you can get general cover, even with exclusions, you will be able to get the residency. And as we discussed before, after the first year of your legal residency, you can apply for the public cover through Convenio Especial, which is a special system giving you access to the public against the payment. Obviously, it's not for free, but at least you will have cover with no exclusions.
Okay, so always there are solutions. Always there are
There is
solutions.
always a solution. That's it exactly. That's the right attitude to know that there is always a solution.
And this is the best. In few minutes, you resolve of many questions that people will research online hours. You give us all the questions very fast.
More than happy to help. If anyone will need a real cover, get in touch with me so that I can provide more information and the quotation.
Exactly. She's the best. She knows everything. And also you help. How many people did you have so far for
Oh,
relocated?
a lot, a lot. I have lots. This year is especially busy. I have lots of families relocating from all over the world, not just Europe, but also United States, Australia, Canada. Recently, I had a family moving from Cayman Islands. It's really international. Malaga is very, very popular.
Yeah,
Very
Malaga
popular.
is becoming the best. The only thing is the where they want to live, no? This is the big part.
That's a painful topic. That's a painful topic. Yes, the property area is difficult, not only in Malaga, but
Mhm.
in Malaga especially. Yes. But also there it is possible to find the way as long as you stay positive and open and accept how things are done here, then there is always possibility to resolve problems.
Okay, pues everyone knows if they want to come to Spain, she's the best in
Oh,
everything. She
thank you,
knows.
Carolina. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for all your wise that you know many things. Thank you for clear all this important topic is about health. Okay,
Thank you,
so
Carolina, for inviting me.
see you the
See you
next.
next time.
Okay, ciao,
Bye.
ciao, bye.